Mark, good morning and thank you very much for coming through.
Thanks, Kendall.
What an opener.
No, definitely. It sets the tone for the World Cup, and I think we're in for some great games.
Croatia's defense was staunch for most of the match. They cut a lot of Brazil's passes out and it actually disrupted their game.
No, they did. I think they came in with a plan that they're going to condense the field and make sure that there are no gaps in their defense, and from there try and get Brazil on the counter attack.
All right, and an own goal by Marcelo in the opening of the match must have had the whole stadium quiet.
No, it did, definitely. Obviously, just the Croatian contingent of fans really cheering. But unfortunate for Marcelo, it's one of those things that it's every defender's nightmare. But you can't really blame him. He was unsighted and when the ball came through. But I think Croatia did really well to put pressure on them in that instance to get the goal.
All right. Now, when we go through to when Neymar got that yellow card, he was seen to be a villain, wasn't he, at that time?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's obviously an elbow, and the way the ref viewed it, it might have, it could have been worse. But
I think I think the visuals there, they can wait a little bit. We'll catch up with him. I will catch up with him just now.
I think, yeah, with Neymar, though, it could have been worse, but I think it didn't warrant a red card, but another ref might have seen it differently. But I think what a lot of people worried was that he could have gotten another yellow, and that could have been a problem for Brazil. And I think he's more known for getting yellows for diving, but I think this time he was lucky to get away with throwing out an elbow there.
Yeah, no, he is very lucky, because I did see him basically sizing the guy up and then pretending he didn't see anything. Look, straight after that, Oscar put in a real man of the match performance. We know that Neymar got man of the match, but Oscar put in a real battle along the wings, and that goal that Neymar got, he tussled for it.
No, I think Oscar had a point to prove, because coming into the game, it wasn't sure that he was going to start. It was obviously between him and a few other players. So obviously the coach gave him the chance to start, and it's like he had a point to prove, and he wanted to just show that the coach was right in choosing him. And so he definitely put in a workmanlike performance. He put his heart on his sleeve, and he gave everything for the team. And I think he definitely would have been my man of the match.
And let's look at the goal that actually came off that particular incident when he tussled so hard. He lost the ball twice and gained it back twice, crossed it over to Neymar, and then Neymar struck the goal, but it wasn't that well struck, was it?
Definitely. Like you say, Oscar there fought really hard, and he didn't give up on it. And he had 2-3 Croats around him, and he really fought for it. He got the ball through to Neymar. And Neymar, yeah, like you said, wasn't the greatest shot. But they say if you don't buy the ticket, you're not going to win. And he took his chance, and it paid off for Brazil. And, Brazil have always looked to Neymar. Coming into this tournament, he was going to be their go-to guy. And he came up for them. He stood up when it counted.
Having said that, even his penalty was not that convincing.
It wasn't. I mean, you could see, it meant a lot, the tension even on his face, as he was running up to the ball. But that's what champions are made of. When the chips are down, you stand up to be counted, and he made it count. It may not have been the greatest penalty, but it went in the net, and that's what counts. And
then that third goal by Oscar, when he toe-poked it in, that was really, he rounded off a really good performance on the night.
I think the remarkable thing about that was the time of the goal. It was just as it turned into 90 minutes, when the 90 minutes was up. And for a player to break from defense, to break through like that, and have the energy to get there, and then, have the presence of mind to finish. He toe punted it, because that's all he could do at that point, because the defenders were closing him down. But like I said, the effort to get there, it took a lot, and I think that's why, for me, he was my man of the match.
And I think a lot of people agree with you there. And I mean, Neymar is the star, and everybody was hoping that he'd perform well, which he did, bar that yellow card. But Oscar really did it for the team, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
When we look at the Croatian goalkeeper, he had a bit of a shocker overnight, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm looking back at the game. I think he will feel he could have done a lot better, especially with the goals. In other departments, in the crossing and collecting the balls, he did okay. But in terms of the goals specifically, like Neymar's in equalizer, I think he could have, he was just short, and I think he could have gotten there. And in the penalty as well, he got 2 hands on the ball, not just one. He got 2 hands on the ball. but he didn't manage to keep it out. So he'll definitely feel like he could have done better. And then even Oscar's goal, I don't think his view was obstructed in any way when Oscar broke through. Oscar toe punted it, and it was on his near post even.
Yes.
And so a goalkeeper doesn't want to get beaten like that. And I feel he could have done a lot better, and Croatia needed him to do a lot better in that instance.
Wow. Having said that, the Croatian coach Niko Kovac said they were robbed. This is shortly after the match, and your thought on the match, especially how the midfield actually kept Brazil shut down for most of the game. Do you think they were robbed, and do you think they actually put up a good fight?
There were quite a few contentious points in the game. I think obviously the penalty, the awarding of the penalty itself, I think Fred went down a bit easily there.
Yeah.
And I think the Croats will definitely feel a bit hard done by. And then not long after they went into the lead, they had an opportunity as well where Olic challenged Julio Cesar for the ball in the box, and you can actually see him hitting the ball down. And then they scored from there, but the whistle had gone. But I don't think it was a foul, the initial tackle on Julio Cesar, because Olic actually wins the ball in the air.
Yes.
And so they definitely can feel hard done by. But I might be a bit controversial here, but I think FIFA needed Brazil to win this game because of everything happening in and around Brazil. Brazil had to do well.
It's interesting that you say that because the referee, Nishimura, he's got a history with Brazil. In fact, Brazilians don't like this guy. He apparently refereed a match in the last World Cup. Was it against, I can't remember who it was, but he was controversial in that one and Brazil lost out.
So I guess I wouldn't say that the ref particularly favored Brazil, whatever, but I think they got definitely a lot of home ground decisions in this game.
Some paraffin to your fire.
No, I think they definitely, this was an important game, and I think obviously the 50-50 decisions were always going to go Brazil's way, and I think they got quite a few of those in this game.
Right. Well, we do hope that things happen very well in the next couple of matches. In fact, Mark, thank you very much. We will be talking to you again in the next hour to talk about Mexico, Cameroon, Spain, Netherlands, and Chile, Australia.
Some big games coming up. Looking forward to it.
Superb. That was Mark Hoskins giving us the lowdown on last night's game. He gets joined by Cujo in 11:40 to talk about what's happening tonight.